6 p.m. News Talk 105.9 WMAM. Making sense of the news.
Yet most of us have nothing in place to deal with death or income. What happens to your life savings, your home? We don't want to leave an expensive mess. I'm attorney James Collins. In my short 2-hour seminar, I'll teach you what you need to know to get your will shaped up. Talk about trusts, powers of attorney, healthcare directives, all the stuff you've been meaning to do. You can do that. I'll teach you how. I have 2 dates coming up. Tuesday, February 4th, I'll be in Fairfax at the Marriott at Fair Oaks. And Thursday, February 6th, I'll be in Columbia at the Doubletree by Hilton, with sessions at 1:30 and 7 p.m. both days. Register online at thecollinsfirm.com. That's thecollinsfirm.com. Or call 877-PLAN-NOW. That's 877-PLAN-NOW. And if you're in Fairfax or Columbia, keep your eye on the mail for your special invitation.
Need a new roof? Honor, respect, and trust your home with Valor. Visit valorhome.com.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Tap into your well-being with Audible audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Expand your life with expert insight and motivation for better health, habits, relationships, finance, and more. Start listening free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com.
Here's the latest on the Headache Traffic Cleaning Traffic Center. Still going westbound 66 between the Beltway and 123. The disabled vehicle westbound between 29 and Business 234. Now move to the right shoulder. The traffic is still jammed from Route 50 Fair Oaks. Watch out for accident activity in Greenbelt. It's on the ramp from Kenilworth Avenue to the outer loop. That off ramp is currently blocked. Now there is an accident in downtown Silver City on Georgia Avenue. Vehicles on 16th Street. That is possible delays, and also the crash activity northbound on 29 near Industrial Parkway. Now from GarageRepair.com, but definitely else don't want to.
It's just so fucking ignorant.
Expect partly cloudy skies this evening with temperatures in the low 40s. Will drop to the mid-30s with with scattered clouds. Sunshine on tap for Wednesday. It will be a warm Wednesday, 55 to 60 for afternoon temperatures, but also a windy Wednesday. Wind gusts to 40 to 50 miles per hour. I'm 7 News Chief Meteorologist Robbie Johnson in episode
47 in Washington. I'm Barbara Grin on News Talk 105.9. WMAL.
And on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Mark Levin. The fowls away. Getting up somewhere under the bricky heel of a non-district building. We've once again made contact with it. Here are number 381-3811, 877-381-3811. You know, as time goes on in the 4 years of this administration, it's more important than ever that you're with me. Several months ago, Westwood One and I signed a contract to extend what I do here for 5 years, starting in February 1st. Which is just a few days away. It overlaps with the 4 years, obviously, of this administration. And I think you're here, and we're uniquely positioned, you and I, to explain these things, how they go on, and why what so much that's being done is
Just got done eating dinner. I made some chicken tenders.
power hungry.
No, I was just doing something, some administrative work.
Come in and he has said, look, we got to slash government. We got to control the bureaucracy.
Now I'm going to roll a joint.
That's what we have to do. People voted for him. This is what they want. You know, we did the same thing with Reagan. We've done this from time to time, but they don't allow the people's will to take hold. It's that simple. We have a massive, ubiquitous federal government with departments, administrative agencies, divisions, units, offices that just get funded over and over and over again, and they just grow and they grow and they grow. Then we have a civil service, many of whom are members of a union, public sector union, which just grows and grows and grows, protects and protects and protects everyone and anyone who pays dues, which is overwhelmingly supportive of the Democrat Party and their, not just their donations for campaigns, but in their rulemaking and in their efforts to sabotage a president like Donald Trump. With a Congress that has delegated enormous power to this fourth branch of government that doesn't even exist in the Constitution, they've delegated an enormous amount of power. The vast majority of laws that are made in this country are not made by your representatives, they're made by bureaucrats. Bureaucrats working with special interests, bureaucrats working with NGOs, non-governmental organizations, bureaucrats mostly working with leftists in one form or another, behind your back, in the shadows, off the radar. That's not representative government. It's tyranny by another name. And they've delegated to this bureaucracy the power of lawmaking, of making fines, criminal penalties. They've delegated to this federal bureaucracy the ability to determine what kind of appliances you'll have in your home, what kind of an automobile you'll drive, what kind of engine the automobile will have, and on and on and on and on. Donald Trump says that's enough. We're gonna go.
I didn't cry about him. He, woman and all that. I know you just.
Worse, it's getting bigger and bigger. It's self-consuming, if you understand what I mean. It just keeps consuming, consuming. Hence the Leviathan.
I wasn't one of them.
As Thomas Hobbes called it in his famous book. Well, famous to some of us. Part of the problem goes back to a book I wrote, my first book, Men in Black. Men in Black was about the Supreme Court, but Men in Black could have very easily been about the federal judiciary, period. And so the federal judiciary views itself as an arm of this massive centralized government, and it does whatever it can to protect it. To protect it. This massive federal government has its prosecutors, it has its administrative lawyers, it has its civil lawyers, it has its appellate lawyers, it has its antitrust lawyers, thousands and thousands of federal lawyers on the payroll. To do what? To advance the federal government, to smother the rest of us. So Donald Trump says we're going to do some things here, and what happens? What happens? These so-called nonprofit organizations, these legal foundations, or Democrats,
Rock.
using other litigators, they've been lying in wait. And this has been their plan. We spoke about this several months ago. That is to litigate everything and bring it in front of friendly judges. And they have a lot of friendly judges, a lot of them, in most of our cities. They went to Seattle to go to an old man, a federal judge. Oh, he's appointed by Reagan. Was never a Reaganite. It's a liberal criminal defense lawyer who I'm told is arrogant, stubborn, and that's what he demonstrated. So he puts in a temporary restraining order on birthright citizenship.
Hi, Lori.
Gives it no serious judicial attention, dismisses it as blatantly unconstitutional. Now we have another judge, Washington, D.C. And let's go through this. Because these federal district judges, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be the counter to the election. See, they rely on the unelected parts of the government, as I've been writing about and talking about for 25 years, writing about longer than that, but in book form. When they lose elections, they go to the bureaucracy, they go to the courts, the unelected parts of the government, which they own. They pretty much own both. They pretty much own both. To stymie an election that they lose, or to support an election that they win. Federal district judge, writes NBC News today, granted an administrative stay in a case challenging the Trump administration's planned freeze of federal aid, pausing the plan for a week and setting a hearing for further arguments next Monday morning. The order only applies to the pause of disbursements and open grants, Judge Lauren Akon said, and it doesn't get into the legality of the freeze, instead just giving the court more time for briefings. Now, what's new about this news story right up front, Mr. Producer? Don't they usually say the judge's affiliation? Who the judge is appointed by? Right. Except when it comes to these radical left-wing judges. I believe this guy's a Biden judge. You want to quickly Google it, Mr. Producer? Just guess it. Because I've never heard of this judge before. And there is I don't even know if it's a male or a female. I think it's a male. The planned freeze, writes NBC, is part of a sweeping effort by President Donald Trump. So they have the media, the courts, the bureaucracy. The media, the courts, the bureaucracy. That's what Trump is up against. That's what we're up against. And by the way, interesting to hear some of our liberal friends on Fox and elsewhere to talk about separation of powers. Wow, I never heard them talk about separation of powers. I hear them about destroying the independence of the Supreme Court. I hear them defending Joe Biden when he defies a Supreme Court ruling that says he cannot eliminate student debt, but he did to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He can't do that.
That money comes from people who start businesses and become successful.
No Supreme
Taxpayers
Court.
pay for that shit.
It's a Biden judge.
I went in the Navy and I contributed to the Montgomery GI Bill. So when I went to college, I had other money to go to college on.
It's part of a sweeping effort by
I was going to use it while on active duty to become an officer.
Not aligned with his agenda. He's asked for a freeze so he can.
Enough about me.
It's funny. It's okay for the judge to put a freeze on the freeze while he's trying to figure out what's going on. But when the elected president of the United States, the head of the executive branch, says, I need a freeze to figure out what's going on, well, we got to hold off on that. So he keeps spending until I, the judge, put a freeze on the freeze in order to see if I agree with the freeze. The move was announced in a Monday night memo from the acting director of the Office of Management and Budget, which said the agencies had to temporarily pause all activities related to obligation or disbursement of all federal financial assistance and other relevant agency activities that may be implicated by the executive orders, including but not limited to financial assistance for foreign aid, non-governmental organizations. See that? Excuse me. Foreign aid, non-governmental organizations, which are all these radical left-wing groups. DEI, woke gender ideology, and the Green New Deal. So there he is, Trump, striking right at the heart of you and me and the American taxpayer, financing the radical left, non-governmental organizations, DEI, woke gender ideology, and the Green New Deal. And the judge says, wait, you can't freeze that. I'm putting a freeze on your freeze so I can see if I agree with you. And so, of course, Trump is striking at the monster, at the Leviathan. He's striking it. And so they're going to the courts, the unelected judge, a Biden appointee, who gives them at least temporarily what they want. Just like they go out to the West Coast to Seattle, to an old man on senior status, a federal judge, who shouldn't even be a federal judge anymore. And don't worry, he's a regular appointee, who gave them what they wanted on birthright citizenship. So this is the way it is. When a conservative
make Donald Trump win an election. The real insurrection, the real usurpation, the real anti-democratic forces, and I mean that, unelected judges, unelected bureaucrats, unelected non-governmental organizations and radical leftists, many of which and whom have been funded by you and me, they jump into action. They've got their plans ready to go if they lose an election. They're the real insurrectionists. They're enshrined in our system. They're enshrined in our system. And so on goes NBC News. And we have a media that is not only not curious, a media that is filled with propagandists for the left. This is part of the culture that Donald Trump is dealing with. This is why they tried to put him in prison. I'm just telling you. The freeze immediately sparked confusion about exactly what types of federal spending would be affected. And Tuesday's court order was just the first step in what's expected to be a major legal battle over the issue that could quickly end up before the Supreme Court. And they've worked over the court. They've worked over a couple of justices. And if the justices don't give them what they want, we're going to get right back to stuffing the Supreme Court with a few more Stalinists, you know, all that kind of stuff. Because the poor leftists, they just never get what they want. And so they try to steamroll the entire system. Steamroll. The power of Congress to dictate federal spending as outlined in the Constitution will be at the center of litigation that could end up at the Supreme Court. So they've already decided, NBC News, that Trump's actions are unconstitutional. I don't know what these courts are going to do. They're unpredictable. You got kooks, leftists, ideologues, cowards all over the damn place wearing black robes, many of whom are positioning themselves, and some of them want bigger positions in the court system. Some of them want the right up by the New York Slimes and the Washington Compost. These are all flesh and blood, these people. There's a relative small percentage of federal judges or any judges that actually just call it as they see it, based on the text, the original meaning, the legislative history, that is, the law and the Constitution. There's damn few of them. And when they do, wait a minute, that's got to be a right winger. Wait a minute, that's Supreme Court. We got to change the court. Wait a minute. Yeah. While they're busy yelling about Trump doesn't have this power, Joe Biden used the bureaucracy, used his so-called power to change our entire economy, to change our energy system, to change our border and immigration system, to change our educational system, to change science. Men are men and women are women. No, they're not. He didn't do any of this by legislation. Not one damn whit of it. And yet, now the Democrats are saying, wait a minute, only Congress can dictate federal spending. And they've got their judges and they've got their bureaucrats. And they've got some cowardly Republicans on the Supreme Court, namely the Chief Justice and Barrett, his lapdog. We'll see how this goes. I'll be right back.
What? News. I ain't got no schedule. I just make it up as I go.
Of the news.
This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea.
Yeah. You know, it's like, you have to make an itinerary. It never stops.
Overboard too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says
Commercial.
qualifying plan of just $45 a month. You can choose a free iPhone 14 or.
I'm hoping somebody will come in and tell me something I don't know what's going on in the world.
Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three.
England finally get rid of their king. There is no royal family. We're all royalty. We all bleed red. White is a color, therefore I am a person of color. POC. I like that Corinne Jean Pierre. That curly hair she's got. She's probably about 5'3", all about 120 pounds. I bet you she feels good and smells good.
And northbound on Route 1, we're on Orange Highway. That's lane it is causing delays. There is still crash activity in downtown Silver Spring on the northbound lanes of Georgia Avenue between Colesville Road and 16th Street. And in Glendale and Prince George's County, there is an accident on Good Luck Road.
Hey, Jarl Wiggin. Andy says he wants to be number 2 guy in my chat. He's kind of like honing in on your territory, isn't he? Wouldn't it be I'm number 1 and then you're number 2 here? I mean, I'm not number 2 in your chat, but you know, we do bring the content. And numbers don't lie. I was just looking at my dashboard again. I gained 5 more subscribers. Yeah, we were talking about the Baptists today. This guy's a Pentecostal. Me, I'm all of them. I'm every denomination there is. I'm all religions. Because the Constitution says I can be. If there's more than one God, they all created me. They made a blueprint, and there it is.
Take25 for 25% off your first.
Been outdoors most of the day.
Terrain types. With a roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out. You'll also find it not forever on your
I've seen what happened, Wiggin. I'm being appeased. You let people they'll block you, and then they talk trash and all that. Rusty's getting pretty sickening. She'll unblock me and post. You're such an idiot, Rusty. You really are. What a fucking blowhard you are. Worried about Tiffany gonna show her pussy to somebody. Big fucking deal. You know, I trolled her a little bit. She doesn't need me on her ass. She's enough. She likes to say, my haters. I'm not a hater. But Rusty, I'm starting to hate you. It's the fucking meters up there. And I hate you for a good reason. Yeah. Come wish death on me, Rusty. Come on. Bring your little friends with you.
Why your business doesn't show up on the search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Helios Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we
Sometimes I think Patrick Rowe is in with you. When you guys talk about Angie. Yeah.
making sense of the news. Making sense of the news.
My baby brother, I'm father. You can't come on the top of that. You can't sit on stomach. You should only sit on.
I hope so. Holy fuck. I went shopping with the pastor again today up in Malone. It's just, you know, when the price of gas, when the price of oil goes down, the economy will get better. This is all Joe Biden's fault. This brings me back. I'm going to bring a subject up. JC ain't going to like this. Remember when Biden, the first thing he did is rescind all them drilling permits on federal land? JC didn't give a shit. All those people lost those jobs. People who own restaurants and hotels, they lost income because of that. That affected their livelihood. And it's pissing me off. And then she's going to sit there and let guys like NEM have their own fucking way. And you try to why he finally gave up the ranch. He's still being protected. I watched your comments disappear. I knew it was you. Wow. And I've been nice. And they want to call me bipolar. Sorry.
December 5, 2023, the United States Senate invoked cloture on her nomination by a 51-50 vote, with Kamala Harris, the vice president, voting in the affirmative to break the tie. This is how radical she is. This vote was notable as it made history, with Harris becoming the vice president with the most tie-breaking Senate votes in history. Her confirmation was later confirmed 51-50, again with Harris breaking the tie. She is a leftist, absolute extremist. She was put there by Biden. She was put there in the D.C. court to protect the federal bureaucracy and to protect the redistribution of wealth and all that's wrong with our government. He got the cake. I'll be right back. Mark Levin here for a trusted sponsor, Advantage Gold. Been reported that from January 2000 to January 2025, the Dow increased 260%, the S&P 500 320%, the Nasdaq 380%, but gold outperformed them all with an incredible 800% growth. So $100,000 investment, let's say an IRA, could have grown to $900,000 or more. See,
There's some bad stuff going on in schools and certain parts of the country.
I trust Link for 9 consecutive years and have handled over $1 billion in retirement transactions. Right now, they're offering a free.
See me dressing up in drag and going to a school and entertaining the children.
$108,000. Get your free protection kit. That's
It fucking slapped the handcuffs on me so fucking fast. Hayden, what's the hell is the matter with you?
at absolutely no cost to you. 800.
Turn that fucking down. I won't have to talk over the fucking thing. Andy, where's your wrench? Thought you had a wrench.
Barbara Britt, a wind advisory being posted for tomorrow starting mid-morning with gusts up to 50 miles an hour expected. A federal judge has temporarily blocked a Trump administration freeze on federal grants and loans in the trillions of dollars that Democrats warn could cause disruptions. The White House says the pause is necessary to review government spending. An armed man was arrested at the U.S. Capitol Monday after threatening to kill cabinet members, including newly confirmed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. 24-year-old Massachusetts man surrendered to police who found knives, homemade firebombs, and a lighter in the man's possession. WMAL traffic and weather next.
This report is sponsored by Regency Furniture. Affordable never looks so good.
You know, they just before I was listening to the news and I was muted. It's some guy traveled across the country, 1,200 whatever, to some underage person in Virginia. Oh yeah, they slapped the handcuffs right on him. Yeah, that's not good to do that. You look for people on the internet and then go find them like that. Yeah, they talked about that. Yeah, hide your digital footprint. And if they start looking for you, you're fucked. Are you kidding me, Andy? Hurting you? Now you're starting to sound like Bud No Balls. Are you? That hurts your feelings right there, Andy. Wow. Yeah, what a pussy you are, Andy. Holy fuck. I'm the most fucking cloned out here, Andy. It's true.
At the top of the list, given their care for my loved ones over the years. At the Good Feet store, we often engage with nurses who are battling with pain in their feet, knees, and back, and they come to the Good Feet store looking for relief.
Must be a lot of snow on the balcony walk up there. He's up there shoveling.
I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis with the 3-step program. It really fits to your lifestyle. I'm a registered nurse, so being
Nah, you're not hurt, Andy. You're too drunk to be hurt.
shift, I go home and
a nurse or anyone wanting to enjoy.
Careful, Andy. You might time yourself out. I'll turn you gay. I'll turn that handle into a gay Andy. Gay as fuck.
Bank has the perfect blend of human and AI.
Hey Wiggin, I think Justine and Andy would be a perfect match for a date.
FVC Bank, communicating on your comfort. FVCbank.com. That's FVC.
I think they'd look good together.
I say, recently in a movie theater.
Both got weird voices about driving nuts. You guys could henpeck each other. You'd have a lot of fun.
A good time to get sick. The Virginia Department of Health will let you stay up to date on your flu, RSV, and COVID-19 vaccines.
Traffic, weather, and news are brought to you by Diet to Go.
Life's busy. You're a professional and have no time to cook, but you still want to eat well and stay healthy. So guess what? Diet to Go is ranked #1 by U.S. News and World Report. DietToGo.com. DietToGo.com. Making sense of your world.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
This is a major wake-up call.
Making sense of the news.
Hey, Justine came in, made one post, and then she left. Where'd she go? I don't know. Hey, should I recruit Justine? Justine, you think you could get used to my ways? All right, the news is back on. I'm going to turn this up.
Federal judge in Washington, Judge Lauren Ali Khan, she is a radical extreme leftist that Biden put on that bench. And the Democrats muscled it through 51-50, 11-10 out of the committee. Apparently there was one Democrat, I don't know who it was, who was voting with the Republicans. Every single Republican voted against her. And she got through 51-50. She's on that federal bench now.
LD won't come
She
here.
should run the bureaucracy.
He won't come here.
And I haven't listened to this yet. I asked
And if he wants.
I recall
He's been here. He thought he was going to camp out on my fucking panel.
Ali Khan. Lauren Ali Khan. Ali Khan. ALIKHAN. So let's tune in. This is June 20, 2023. This is the woman who thinks she should run federal grants and the federal bureaucracy. Even the most extremist front groups, causes. Apparently Donald Trump's not allowed to freeze them.
All those foreign students not having to pay their debt.
Will you allow your personal or political beliefs to affect your decisions?
Kennedy from Louisiana.
My personal beliefs have never played a role in the positions I took as an advocate, nor do they play a role in the positions I take as a judge when I'm neutrally deciding a case.
Okay, I'm glad we got that off the table. Let me ask you a few questions about how you view the world. Do you believe that minorities need special help to succeed?
Senator, that issue is currently pending before the U.S. Supreme Court.
We just established that you're not going to let your personal opinions affect your decisions. You're going to follow precedent.
Absolutely, I will follow whatever precedent comes.
So let's
from the
talk
Supreme
about your
Court.
personal opinions, which will be irrelevant to your position on the court. Do you believe that minorities need special help to succeed?
Senator, again, I don't have a personal position. I'm sitting here as a current sitting judge and
Have you
as
thought
a
about that?
nominee.
Have you thought about that?
I am aware that we have given preferential treatment. It's been subject to a lot of different court cases. The
Do
issue.
you agree with that or disagree with it?
It's not a question, Senator, of whether I agree or disagree. I
Sure it
apply the
is.
law
You're-
as it comes before me.
You're being confirmed to the federal bench and presumably.
Kennedy cracks me up, man. That guy's, he's fucking all there, boy. That guy's up there.
Do you believe that minorities in America need special help to succeed? It's a very simple question.
Senator, to the extent policymakers have enacted laws that provide protections.
Do you agree with those policymakers?
I am not a policymaker, and as a sitting judge, it
You
is.
don't have an opinion, or you're just not going to answer. I don't want to waste more time if you're not going to answer.
Senator, as a sitting judge, it is inappropriate for me to
No, it's
comment
not.
on my personal
No, it's
views.
not. We've already established that you're not going to let your personal beliefs interfere with your decisions. So I think you ought to tell us what your personal beliefs are. Do you believe that do you believe in systemic racism?
Senator, again, that's a question for sociologists and academics. I take
You
every
don't
case.
have an opinion. You never thought about it.
Right up my
Each case that
alley.
comes before me on the individual facts.
Systemic racism.
My understanding is that it's a sociological theory that racism plays a systemic role. But beyond that, I'm not an academic. I'm not a sociologist. I am a judge, and I apply the facts and the law to the cases that come before me.
Right, but you don't have an opinion.
No, Senator, I do not.
Do you have an opinion on anything you'd like to share with us?
Senator, as a sitting judge, it's inappropriate for me to comment on any personal views I might
No, it's
hold
not.
because I would not.
That was the first question I asked you was.
It's like talking to Rusty.
Does matter. If you
That's like talking to Rusty.
You never thought about these issues, you're not qualified to be a federal judge. And I think you ought to come here and answer. I think all of you should come here and answer them forthrightly. If I ask you, let me ask you one last question. And I will quickly, Mr. Chairman. Do you believe you sit on the District of Columbia Court of Appeals? Is the District of Columbia Court of Appeals systemically racist?
Senator, as a sitting judge, I think it would be inappropriate for me to comment. I can say all of my colleagues take the cases open-mindedly.
Do you think it's systemically racist?
I don't think that it is, Senator, but I also don't know if I'm qualified to give that type of assessment.
Well, you sit on that.
But she'll be qualified in her own mind now to be a queen. That is, to make all the decisions for the Trump administration, for the voters. Now she's qualified to do anything she wants. That's why they lie during these hearings. That's why he's pressing her. That's why he's actually quite brilliant, John Kennedy. And the way he does it is quite brilliant. It's entertaining too, but it's brilliant. And you can see how quickly she's talking. She sits on what is uniquely a judicial system within the District of Columbia government. She's on the appellate court within the District of Columbia government. He knows she's a radical on abortion. He knows she's a radical on so-called affirmative action. He knows she's a radical, period. So does every single Republican in the United States Senate, because they all voted against her, every single one. And they needed Kamala Harris to get her through 51-50. And there she sits, Lauren Ali Khan.
Odd name.
Sitting there to decide whether the groups that she likes and supports that she would not discuss, whether the policies that she likes and supports are to be funded. You see, Donald Trump's coming in. He's saying, all right, let's put our foot on the brake or at least tap it. I want to look over all this stuff, see what I can and cannot do. And she just told him today, you don't get to do that. In fact, I'm the one who gets to do that. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell the whole country that your executive order is now on hold. I'm freezing your executive order, which freezes this spending because you want to look at it. I am freezing your executive order because I want to look at it. Now that's pretty damn radical. Pretty damn radical. That's Judge Lauren Ali Khan. And we're going to have a lot of Judge Lauren Ali Khans throughout this process because it's an amazing thing. Even though courts are supposed to use what's effectively considered a lottery system for the appointment of cases to judges, it just always seems to be that the leftists get the judges they want. Whether it's the attempt to put Donald Trump in prison in Washington, D.C., whether it is a circuit court panel in Washington, D.C. that has two knuckleheads, radical leftists, whether it's the judge in Seattle on senior status, the old guy just happens to be picked, they forum shop. And the judges know they're forum shopping. And if there's a majority of judges and they have the chief judge in that district wants them to forum shop. That's how it works. And so you have a conspiracy of the left, the bureaucracy, the advocacy groups, and the judges. And this is what we're going to face. It's hard enough to win an election. And then look at this sort of stuff. It's crazy. But this is what's going on. And that's why this government needs to be cut way back. Because they don't care about elections. They don't care if Donald Trump's elected president. They don't care if he issues an order. They don't care. And then you'll have some boneheads on our side, like former federal prosecutors and others, where their experience is in a very narrow lane and yet they think they know a lot. Well, they read
The judge on the circuit court in the District of
They
Columbia,
don't know a lot from their own experience.
unelected.
And so they'll be telling you that when Donald Trump makes a recess appointment, that violates the Constitution. Well, not anymore. What the Democrats are doing with the Appointments Clause actually violates the whole notion of the Appointments Clause. To use it as a tool to prevent a president from filling the top levels of his government, that was never the purpose of the Appointments Clause. So he responds with a recess appointment. My God, what is he, a dictator? And I did a whole show on this.
Did a lot of shoveling
And
today.
those who write such things are as stupid as they sound.
The whole fucking church.
Now we have this. He's impounding funds. He didn't impound a penny. He said, I'm going to hold the monies until I can figure out what's going on here. What the prior administration did, whether these monies were compelled by statute, whether they were discretionary, I need to take a look at this. We just got here. No, you can't do that. You do what the prior administration did. See, this is how you got an election. This is how you got policies and priorities. And everybody who voted for Trump and everybody who cares about the size of the government, everybody who cares really about separation of powers should be appalled by what this radical left-wing judge, Ali Khan, did. You should also be appalled about the radical left-wing Reagan appointee in Seattle and the damnable fools that run Sunday shows who don't know the you-know-what from the you-know-what when it comes to birthright citizenship, who basically regurgitate what other lawyers say, who basically regurgitate what they read rather than actually study the original information and go back.
We could talk all night about birthright citizenship. Eat that dead horse.
About the Senate Judiciary Committee at the time. Look at the entire context, the intent. No, we can't do that. And then, of course, we have Joe Biden, who defied 3 Supreme Court decisions, and one involving tens of billions of dollars, student loans. Forgave tens of billions of dollars in student loans in defiance of the U.S. Supreme Court. You didn't hear Democrats complaining about separation of powers. You didn't hear Democrats complaining about the Constitution. You didn't hear Democrats calling him Hitler or anti-democratic, just as with the pardons, what he did with his family and so forth. No. We don't need lectures from Democrats about any of this stuff. We don't need lectures from a federal judge, Ali Khan, who's a radical left-wing kook. Why should we respect what she does when she doesn't respect the rule of law herself? I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news. Making sense of the issues.
Every day.
Where there is one common denominator.
It's the common sense way to go.
Sense of your world
Together.
And you're saying, I often disagree. You need to look at both sides of the spectrum. I completely agree. Nothing about companies. Here.
One headline
at a time.
at a time.
People that has problems. Exactly.
Take a News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Your body's natural healing and rebuilding processes slow down. A collagen supplement from Ancient Nutrition can help you feel and look your best. Ancient Nutrition's mission is to create high-quality supplements that combine ancient wisdom and modern science. Ancient Nutrition's multi-collagen advanced lean supplement contains 10 types of collagen from 10 real food-based sources. Their formula is powered by clinically studied ingredients that promote fat
I'm doing
loss,
something.
maintain a healthy weight, and build lean muscle.
Joint burning.
Collagen can also reduce joint discomfort and improve the growth of your skin, hair, and nails. Plus, Ancient Nutrition's multi-collagen advanced lean is delicious and easy to work into your daily routine by mixing it into your morning coffee, matcha, or your favorite smoothie. Right now, Ancient Nutrition is offering 25% off your first order when you go to ancientnutrition.com/take25. That's ancientnutrition.com/take25 for 25% off your first order.
With belts tightening and many cutting back on spending.
Right. Prices at the grocery store.
Why not spend more time with us?
I'm gonna go for food if we do not address election integrity.
Because making sense of it all is always time well spent.
People stand up and say enough.
News Talk 105.9 WNAL, making sense of the news.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance. Or just all text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver.
Oh, hey, sorry about that. Busy doing shit over here on the phones. I mean, I don't have an administrative assistant, so I got to do everything myself.
Silver Spring on northbound Georgia Avenue at Colesville Road has been cleared from the roadway, but there is still an accident in Prince George's County on Good Luck Road south of Greenbelt Road and northbound on the Rockville Pike at the
If I had a good secretary, he'd be a
that accident is being moved to the shoulder, but it is slow on the inner loop on and off from 123 to 270 and from 270.
Hey, Wiggin, you should grab the girl, her kids, and your kid and come on up here. Your daughter would get really well taken care of up here. That's fact.
Very much, isn't it? The Declaration explains the promise that all men and women are born equal in their possession of natural rights, and that the proper exercise of these rights can lead to a full and deeply satisfying life.
Uh-oh.
Just as the Declaration explains America's promise.
Wiggins gonna have all them British fuckers in here crying in a minute.
This establishes a possibility, not the guarantee, that we can have a good life. This is true freedom.
To learn more and get a free pocket constitution, visit constitutionminute.com. This Constitution Minute was furnished by Hillsdale College.
Hey, Wiggin, were you in the chat earlier when I trolled Chrissy Britt, Sebastian's old woman there? She thinks January 6th, a bunch of crimes, that she believes all that crap. Here's Sebastian. He's supposed to be a Christian and Trump supporter, but she's not. A little strange. How about it, Chrissy? You quit fucking posting when I did that, didn't you? I have that effect on people.
The Trump administration using all
Cat does it.
tools of federal law enforcement. Thousands have been found and are being deported, which means Joe Biden could have found them and deported them. Mayorkas could have found them and deported them.
And prevented those deaths.
Pedophiles in our own communities. And you actually have Democrats who are governors, who are members of Congress, that don't have a problem with it. You actually have people in the media sick like Joy Reid, mentally ill, bigots, and she's not alone, saying this looks like the 1930s Germany. It's an amazing thing how the left and the Democrats hate Israel, hate the Jews, embrace Hamas, embrace the Hitler Youth in our streets. You keep referring to 1930s Germany. They don't realize, or they do, that they're looking in the mirror. Is your risk high that an IRS agent is about to show up at your home over unpaid taxes or unfiled returns or God knows what?
The IRS.
The IRS is about to freeze your bank accounts and garnish your wages. You know, they don't have to give you a heads up. They just do it all of a sudden. Understanding your IRS risk level, helps you decide how quickly you need to act. Take my advice. Find out. It's free. It's confidential. Call the experts at Tax Network USA. Nobody else does this. Share your situation with them. Explain it. They'll advise if they believe your risk level is high, moderate, or low. Now, this is a free service from my audience exclusively, and it's 100% confidential. And if your risk is high,
I'm doing good so far. I've been in JC's chat lately, the last few days, 3 weeks, whatever. I ain't been in there today. I ain't going in. I ain't even go look. I'm going to ignore it. Stream. I'm going to listen to what I want to listen to. Other people want to play music. If I could play guitar, I'd entertain. I'd be sitting here with. I'd at least have an acoustic guitar, and I'd be playing something. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of talent. Talent. Yeah, all these people out here, that J.B. Brown, I remember him. I remember all these fuckers from way back.
800-858-1000.
Block and they fucking talk crap. They see you and they be commenting and shit and talk to their friends and all. That's what they do. And you guys suck at this. You really do.
The big investigation on General Milley and Nixon's security clearance in detail. According to Fox News, Hegseth has ordered the Defense Department Inspector General to investigate, and this is important, if we get civilian government back, to investigate Milley related to President Trump's first term, which could result in Milley being demoted and stripped of a star.
Good.
From Jennifer Griffin. Hegseth, General Milley's security detail and clearance immediately may face demotion. And
I got to do something real quick.
Hegseth ordering new IG to investigate Milley, orders removal of second portrait. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will announce he is immediately pulling retired Milley's personal security detail and security clearance. The Secretary is also directing the new acting Inspector General to conduct a review board to determine if enough evidence exists for Milley to be stripped of a star in retirement based on his actions to, quote, undermine the chain of command, unquote, during President Trump's first term, officials said. In my humble opinion, just one man's opinion, he absolutely did when he went around the commander-in-chief's back to talk to the head of the communist Chinese military and to tell him, don't worry, we're not going to strike first, and I'll give you a heads up if Trump's doing this, that, or the other. Wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. The Pentagon will also be removing a second portrait of Milley. How many portraits do these guys get, Mr. Producer? This one is from the Army's Marshall Carter on the third floor, honoring his service as Chief of Staff of the Army. Fox is told the removal of this second portrait will take place as soon as tonight. This means there will be no more portraits of Milley inside the Pentagon. Oh, my goodness. What shall we do? Now, the article at Fox News rights group doesn't necessarily explain the basis for the investigation, but suggests Milley hated Trump when he was president and told Bob Woodward that he thought Trump was a fascist to the core. In his new book, War, Bob Woodward writes, General Milley told him at a reception at the Willard Hotel in Washington on May 6, 2023, he believed Trump was fascist to the core. Milley was still serving in uniform as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff when he reportedly made the remark. Woodward wrote that Milley shared with me his worries about Trump's mental stability and control of nuclear weapons in a previous book. Yeah, there's no way this guy should be head of the Joint Chiefs. There's no way. Donald Trump was not a threat to use nuclear weapons. Donald Trump is the least likely president to do that. When the leader of ISIS was killed in a daring raid carried out by U.S. Special Operations Forces in Syria in October 2019. Trump praised Milley, they write. In their book, Peril, Bob Woodward and Robert Costa wrote that General Milley called his Chinese counterpart on 2 occasions in the final months of Trump's first term, warning him the U.S. military had no plans to strike China in a bid to avert tensions between nuclear-armed countries. Now, Trump was not going to do that, but Milley undermined the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief. And you know what? For that, he deserves to lose a star. And then he self-righteously positions himself as helping to protect the country. And by the way, under him also was the debacle in Afghanistan, the disaster in Afghanistan. The guy had such righteous and moral purposes, you would have thought he would have resigned over that, but no. No. He had to hang around in order to trash Trump, the prior president. We cannot have generals like this who do what Milley did in real time, undermining the commander-in-chief with our biggest enemy, the communist Chinese. That's just absolutely unacceptable if you believe in civilian government. I'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you very much for covering this topic.
WNAL.
But you know what, Wigan? At least she knows it's bothering her. That's why she's acting, behaving the way she doesn't know what to do. She's dumbfounded. Yeah, she is. That's what I think. That's what I know. I know she is. Yeah. I mean, Chell and all of them immediately come right after me. And there's that Jill. I finally got to see her, what she looks like. Yeah, she was a fucking toad back in Fox 46. That fucking character. She got madder than hell when I cloned her. It's okay for them to do it though. They sit there with their friends and clone people, and then they get mad when they get cloned. All I've ever done is clone people. And then they want to say I spam. If I was a spammer, I'd be using robots. If you're going to spam, you got to use robots. That's all there is to it. That's your best spam. Well, if you want to just disrupt the chat, notice that fucker don't come in here with it. So what I was going to say, Wigan, right? She knows the truth that, you know, I wanted to leave her alone. I'm trying. You know, I have just as much right to be in these chats as the rest of them. All right, you got Whipperman and all of them demanding me to leave and everything. You know, Mary Burney started her crap in JC's chat. You know, then there's Randy. JC doesn't say a fucking word to that guy. Time that motherfucker out, JC. You all worried he's going to get mad at you? I seen it. I seen Mina and him bicker over an avatar to get fucking. They got mad at each other. It's fucking ridiculous. You know. See the mouth on that woman? She looked like a fucking giant kangaroo. Fucking rat face. You know, that kangaroo's got a rat's head. Right? A fucking ugliest fucking animal on earth is a kangaroo. That is the fucking dumbest looking fucking animal ever. Whatever God was doing there, I think he did it to torture humans. I don't know. I'm just glad those fuckers don't try to eat us. You imagine being Hollywood needs to make a movie and the fucking world gets taken over by kangaroos. Hey, my alma mater, SUNY Canton, State University of New York, Canton, New York. All right, their mascot is a kangaroo. Seriously. SUNY in Canton, New York, State University of New York. There's the kangaroos. They play hockey. Yeah, they got a lacrosse team. Yeah. We get a lot of people from New York City to come up here to go to school. You got Canton, SUNY Canton, and you got SUNY Potsdam, which is only 10 minutes away. Both college towns. You should see some of the architecture in Potsdam. The church. There's one church. It's
Seeing a Democrat and Republican delegate, Jerry Higgins, both represent Loudoun County, where in 2023 there were 11 overdoses in one school, and parents were not notified for over 2 weeks.
It is my hope that we can save countless lives right here with this bill.
Wigan, JC got, you know, she wanted me to shut up about him pissing on the jacket, and they sit there, and there he still sits. What a disgusting motherfucker. I fucking kick him in the dick.
Shipment of nearly 100 rolls of black yarn from India destined for California was intercepted at an air cargo warehouse near Dulles last month when agents
I don't care what the woman did.
inside of the spool.
She pissed on. So that justifies. It's just what they do. Because you do it. Hey, JC, I'm going to go jump off the Ogdensburg Bridge. You're going to do the same thing? Or you go first.
failed to
Sit there and defend them and them guys. Yeah, I was listening. I've been, JC fucking them's the smartest guy. Baba Yaga was bragging his brain's gonna get donated. You know, where's that Smith guy that when that fucking at a pool or whatever? Is he in New Zealand or Australia? Which one of you fuckers are Hannah?
Final expulsion vote in the council is expected in 1 week. WMAL traffic.
He thinks he's pretty tough, Wiggin, that LD guy. What a dumb fuck. Imagine what his bedroom smells like with that dog in there. In your bedroom. He spends all his time in that room right there. You are a fuck. I got that word from Wigan. Fucktard. And now Rusty's using my word. I suck fuck. You run your suck fuck. Come on. Yeah, Gotti, turn your fucking camera on. Let's see if you can take the fucking dose of your own medicine. Let's see what you look like. There's got to be something about you that just isn't right. Probably got green teeth. Who the fuck knows? How about you, Will Durant? The fuck is posting about Mary Bernie? He thinks he's why would you be worried about a guy 20 years your senior getting his fucking dick wet? What a dumb fuck you are, Will Durant. I didn't even say anything about Wolfie. We don't even talk. She doesn't talk to me. If she was that interested in me, she'd be visiting. And it's just spiritual. She sees you and she sees the dumbest fucker out here, and you're the easiest to catfish. That's why she does what she does, because you fucking dance like the monkey you are. Hey, Will Durant, since you like talking about it, let's talk about your mother, Will Durant. How many boyfriends did she have when you were growing up? I bet you don't even know who your fucking father is. You're one of them kind of kids, aren't you, Willie Durant? Eric Hostetler. Is that how you say it? Is that right? Oh, I got it from Rusty. Now you got war with Rusty again. Is she never not at war? Rusty has a hard time. She just can't ignore people and just go about her business. Fucking busybody. She said it's her job to start rumors. Well, it's my job to fucking stop the rumor. Buck stops here, Rusty. I'm a streamer. It makes me royalty. I'm on the same level, bitch. Bring Gotti with you. Bring your best friends with you. All right, the news is back on. I'll shut up.
Number 877-381-3811. Hello. 877-381-3811. The International Criminal Court, we've talked about this before. The judges are a mixture of Islamists and Marxists. They hate America. They hate Israel. And they bow to the demands of the South African government, which is thoroughly Marxist and anti-Semitic. They bow to the wishes, I might add, and I'm sorry, to the Irish government, which is thoroughly anti-Semitic and pro-Islamist. They bow to the wishes of countries that file complaints against Israel and the United States and are funded by terrorist regimes like Iran. The Republicans in the House of Representatives said enough of this crap. The biggest problem, as far as we're concerned, they say, is not only what they're doing to the Prime Minister of Israel and their friends over there, who are simply trying to defend themselves. They claim the ability to bring any charges they want against any one of our service personnel serving overseas, even though we have never agreed that this foreign entity, this court of Europe, should have the power over any of our soldiers, anybody in our military.
Fuck you, Europe.
The power over our president and Secretary of Defense.
I knew he was going to talk about this tonight.
So the Republicans in the House of Representatives rallied. They put together a fantastic package, a bill sanctioning the ICC. It goes to the United States Senate, where the Senate Democrat leader likes to say he's the first Jewish person to have been the majority leader and the leader of the Senate Democrats.
Chuck Schumer.
You know what he's done as the first Jewish people to head the Democrats in the Senate? He has attempted to destroy the Israeli government under Netanyahu. He has supported the ban against Netanyahu in his speech in a joint session of Congress. He has supported the boycott and withholding of weapons from the Israeli government to defend itself and its people, the citizens of Israel, in the only Jewish state. He supported the Iran nuclear deal while pretending not to, but he supported it. He rallied the Democrats to vote for it under Obama. And now he's crippled the ICC bill that was passed by the House and sent to the Senate. Two of these senators, Slotnick from Michigan and a guy whose name I can't pronounce, I think it's pronounced grotesque, the senator from Arizona, the new one, they both voted for the bill when they were in the House, when they were running for the Senate, and they voted against it today because they were told to by the first Jewish Democrat leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer. The irony of this is that we have Gentiles, Christians, who are fighting harder for the state of Israel than Chuck Schumer. And not just him. You have a little bastard there that comes out of Georgia who inherited all his money. There's another one. Then, of course, you got Bernie Sanders, who's Marxist all the way, baby, Stalinist all the way, and I can go through the whole damn list.
Bernie Sanders.
You've got
Anybody from Vermont in here, by the way?
Johnson, the Speaker of the House. At least he's an evangelical Christian who's led the way. Who's led the way. Was just killed in the Senate by Schumer and the Democrats. Killed in the Senate. So our men and women in uniform serving overseas are now subject to the jurisdiction of this court, even when we say they're not. Our president and commander-in-chief are now subject to the jurisdiction of the court, even when we say they're not, thanks to Schumer and the Democrats. Our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel, our favorite prime minister in the state of Israel, has been indicted by this committee because of a filing by South Africa paid for by Iran. And the Democrats in the Senate and the first Jewish Democrat leader, Schumer, who seeks to un-Jew himself, as I say it, every chance he gets, who undermines Israel every chance he gets. That dumb bastard, he killed it. And so that's where we are.
I wonder if Logical is related to Schumer.
President Trump had one of your brilliant lawyers write an executive order.
Callahan's and the Schumers.
Maybe with the help of Tom Cotton. Johnson. And sign it and issue it. And let the chips fall where they may. And let the chips fall where they may. We cannot allow a rogue Marxist, Islamist, European court, which has absolutely no connection to we the people, which actually violates our Constitution because we are a representative government. Our government, our people, not some faraway entity that has no claim to anything over any one of us, especially our elected government and our armed forces. We had an obligation to protect our armed forces today, and the Democrats threw them overboard, as they always do. As they always do. So I wanted you to be aware of that the Democrat Party, under the tutelage of Chuck Schumer, who's busy unjewing himself, and un-Americaning himself, may I say, I'll coin a phrase, who thinks it's okay for the Yanks, for the men and women in our uniform, who fight for us, who take orders from the United States government, be subject to the jurisdiction of a Marxist Islamist court in Europe. Can you imagine that? Boy, do they hate this country. Boy, do the Democrats hate this country.
Fuck you, you European motherfuckers. I mean the government. I don't mean all the people.
Hitler's Germany? How sick are these bastards? Very. In fact, Joy Reid,
Paul, bitch life,
yes, ladies and gentlemen,
thinks he's a troll.
which owns NBC and MSNBC, keeps promising they're going to spin off MSNBC, when in fact they renewed and extended Joy Reid's contract. Joy Reid
Figures.
is America's biggest bigot, and there are many, but she's the biggest. And I dare anybody to defend her. White, black, in between. I dare you. I dare you. She is a absolute bigot. She used to take off against gay people.
He wants to use other words.
Against black people who didn't agree with her. Of course, she takes off against white people, who's anybody who's not black, apparently. She is a vile.
The best is when she was on Bill Maher
continues to pay her
with Ann Coulter. That was fucking crazy.
She is on MSLSD yesterday.
Oh.
She has no governor on her big mouth. She's nobody tell her to tamp it down. I mean, she's like the
it's gonna make you sick,
if you will, of CNN. More on him later. Let's say Jim Acosta.
Listen to the way she talks.
CNN or MSNBC. There's nowhere to go. It doesn't get any lower than that, does it, Mr. Producer? Airport radar and sonograms. That's all that's left for you. Here's Joy Reid. Cut one, go.
80 years ago today, Stalin's Red Army walked through the gates of Auschwitz and uncovered the true inhumanity and evil of the Nazi regime. Millions of men, women, and children murdered, thousands more starved, beaten, humiliated, and robbed of their dignity. The extermination of Jewish people, Poles, Roma, Soviet prisoners of war, gay people, and others was no secret. It happened in broad daylight.
Excuse me, it was a secret to many in America because the New York Times covered it up. You're an ignoramus on top of everything else. The New York Times covered it up. The Washington Post covered it up. Most of broadcast media covered it up because Franklin Roosevelt wanted it covered up. And in the case of I don't know how many more times I have to write about it and say it. In the New York Times, it was owned by a Jewish family, but not really practicing Jews with German roots. And they got their relatives out of Germany, but they wanted to be read and liked by the Franklin Roosevelt regime. They didn't want to come across as too Jewish, like writing and speaking out against the extermination of an entire group of people was apparently too Jewish for the New York Times. Just as today, they're one of the leading voices against Israel, against the Israeli government, and spew the Hamas propaganda about casualties and all the rest and a two-state solution. It is a diabolical newspaper, which is why nobody subscribes to it anymore except for ignoramuses. This is why people detest MSNBC. Joy Reid lays out the case, and inaccurately so, by the way. She says everybody knew. Well, unfortunately, not enough. But the point is this. She's going to lay this out as an excuse to attack Trump. Trump! Go ahead.
Well, do it. Well, with the support of millions of ordinary Germans who just wanted Germany to be great again, and business leaders who initially thought they could control him, plus a cadre of devout political allies willing to do whatever he said for the sake of power. A new piece by The Atlantic lays out how Hitler ended a German democracy and installed a dictatorship with blinding speed and entirely constitutional measures. In that period, Hitler emerged.
Entirely constitutional measures. He helped burn down their parliament. What the hell are you talking about? I don't even know what The Atlantic's talking about. Entirely constitutional measures? No, he didn't. He defied the Constitution. He weaseled his way into the government. That's what he did. Adenauer was an old man. The country had gone broke. And so in order to keep the majority, he brought the Nazi party in, which was his big mistake. And from there, Hitler took power. He burned down the Reichstag. These people, they think they know history. They don't know crap. No, he followed the Constitution, don't you know? Like Donald Trump. You know, like Donald Trump. They're all like Donald Trump. Go ahead.
imprisoned for staging a coup. His rage and xenophobia gained followers after the financial ruin of World War I. And
what else did he do? You big dumb bigot. What else did he do? Well, he comes into power, ladies and gentlemen, and he reads a book on eugenics that was written by a big-time Democrat lawyer.
Read what that says on that.
Who was promoted by Woodrow Wilson.
She's on Stephen Colbert.
Going on about how you can improve humanity, how you can rejigger human nature. It was a racist book on eugenics and how eugenics, that's basically sterilization and extermination, how it should be used against black people and other people they called idiots. That was the first book that Adolf Hitler translated into German and distributed it throughout the German Empire. Written by a Democrat. One of Woodrow Wilson's favorite lawyers. How come she doesn't mention this? Because she's a fraud and a fink and a phony. That's why. And I'm sure Adolf Hitler would have been very excited about abortion on demand. I'm sure he would have funded it. The way he pushed it.
Rachel.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of it. But we can't go there, can we? No, come on, that's a choice. It's a choice. Go ahead.
Helped get him selected as chancellor. Once in power, he moved with shock and awe, imprisoning his liberal opposition.
All right, that's enough.
That's her.
Stupid is stupid. Now, deporting criminals, murderers, rapists to protect the citizens in our communities, in our inner cities, many of whom are not white, but what should that matter? Apparently, that's like Hitler's Germany. Deporting people who are here illegally. The irony is, the first one to do it on a mass scale was Dwight Eisenhower. He called it Operation, his word, not mine, his word, not mine, Operation Wetback. And he wasn't the only one. Cesar Chavez, the great farm workers union leader. So great that Barack Obama had his bust in his office.
Will you be his friend, please?
Wetback.
Be nice to him, Charles. Please. Go apologize to him in JC's.
Rounded up 3 million illegal aliens. In a period of 6 months, he used school buses. He used military personnel carriers. They used trucks. They used whatever they had. They even used taxis. Didn't just release them over the border, took them into the heart of Mexico. Forced their release. Gathered them up from schools and pubs. Gathered them up. One from the other. In a mass deportation.
You be my friend.
It was led by the military.
I love you.
A dear friend of his who went to West Point. A general.
Wiggin, I love you.
It was the job of the Pentagon.
I love you, Wiggin. I love you. Will you love me back, Wiggin? Will you be my friend?
Him Hitler today? He's such an ass. It's not even funny. Cut 2, go.
Once in power, he moved with shock and awe,
That's Hitler.
imprisoning his liberal opposition, abolishing states' rights. And
Oh, now that's pretty funny. Imprisoning his liberal opposition? He imprisoned his opposition, period. Just like they try to imprison Donald Trump. Does she understand that the argument she's making punched her?
I've been following this a long time, Wiggin. A really long time. I can't stand Al Sharpton.
These images of people who dare to
He's
die for the American dream only
in
to
this one.
back to their home country.
Oh, yes, and so far these people with the American dream have murdered Americans, have raped Americans. That's right. Have defiled their children. That's who they're gutting. But even at this early stage, when they're focused on real, hardened, violent, horrendous criminals, Joy Reid says it looks like a human rights disaster to her. She is one sick puppy. I'll be right back.
What? News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
This podcast is sponsored by Laurel Road. At Bigger Pockets, we're always trying to find ways to help you maximize your buying power. which is why you should check out Laurel Road. Laurel Road's banking and lending solutions include student loan refinancing, mortgages,
That's creepy right there. That's some creepy shit right there.
and it costs $0 to open. It's a great solution for the cash portion of your portfolio. So visit laurelroad.com/pockets to learn more. Laurel Road, your partner on the road to financial peace of mind. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
As you age, your body's natural healing and rebuilding processes slow down. A collagen supplement from Ancient Nutrition can help you feel and look your best. Ancient Nutrition's mission is to create high-quality supplements that combine ancient wisdom and modern
Bill
science.
Maher tapped Ann Coulter. They dated.
Lean supplement contains 10 types of collagen from 10 real food-based sources. Their formula
Right.
is powered by clinically studied
That
ingredients.
Amy Goodman. Look at this creep. You want to talk about a creep? Right there. That's a creepy person right there. That Amy Goodman. That's a fucking strange person, Wiggin. Wiggin, what's the matter in California?
Right now, Ancient Nutrition is offering 25% off your first order when you go to ancientnutrition.com/take25.
I mean, look at this thing. Look at
/take25 for 25% off your first order.
I don't want to click on it. I mean, I'm on her page. She's got a YouTube page.
You can't miss. And it's tough inside and out with lava red detail.
This fucking thing.
Climbing mountains, rugged trails, and never backing down.
Photoshop, because she's a homely bitch. CB, if you think you're homely right there, that's a homely fucking woman right there.
Heavy loading of the vehicle with cargo, especially on the roof, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle. Making foreign policy. The issue here is
Google's, they're going to shut me down, Wiggin. I'm talking about my favorite subject, Al Sharpton and this dumb fucker.
5.9
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Attention taxpayers. The
I'm gonna plug it in.
Intensifying collections in 2025. If you owe $10,000 or more or have unfiled tax returns, it's time to take action. Tax Network USA's experienced lawyers have saved clients over $1 billion. They're ready to negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Don't risk wage garnishment, property seizure, or losing your home. Call 1-800-278-9000 today. Get the help you need at 1-800-278-9000 or visit tnusa.com. A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America.
No, I don't feel it. I'm listening to the radio.
Your smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app.
We got some serious shit going on. We're talking about what's going on in the international court and all that shit. They're trying to destroy the United States. I mean, those fires in Los Angeles that's arson.
So make the switch to Newsmax.
It's an act of war.
Satellite TV.
That's all there is to it. Where's the California State Militia at?
Anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is
I'm not kidding.
For real people.
Making sense of your world.
Those fires were set. Adam Schiff needs to be put in handcuffs and taken straight to fucking federal prison. Denimora would be a good place for him, right up here where I live. Out in the middle of the fucking Adirondacks where nothing is. But fucking forest and wilderness.
Just do. That's why I wrote the book. The Democrat Party hates America. How else do you explain this? And ideology aside, obviously they hate the country, which means they hate you. Mr. and Mrs. America. Here's Sonny Houston, who I believe her husband's been charged with multiple counts by the federal government of medical fraud or insurance fraud or something.
Here we go.
Maybe Sonny will do a whole show on this and explain it to us. Cut 8, go.
But 87% support deporting criminal undocumented
Yes,
migrants. If he
I don't know
focuses on
anybody in the world. Yeah, I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know
Oh, you don't know anybody in the world. Is that Karen there, Mr. Producer? Karen, Oh yeah, there's a lot. Whoopi Karen, or Karen Whoopi. Yeah, there's a lot of people who do. Maybe you're just not listening. Go ahead.
To be focused.
Can I say something? Because, you know, if we start talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals, and I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crime than Americans.
What does this have to do with anything?
Undocumented immigrants, they keep saying. No such thing.
What does that have to do with anything? This is a deflection. It's deceit. It's phony. First of all, I don't know what stats she's looking at. I've seen stats.
That's where the hub of the activity is.
There's willing gangs in here. We've MS-13 gangs.
No, they film that shit.
Rapists in here. We have pedophiles in here who wouldn't be here if the border was secured. Nobody here is saying that this country doesn't have people like that. Our prisons are full with them. And if Sonny Houston had her way, our prisons would be emptied with them, right? Because she's a kook. She's a kook, and she's married to a guy that's been charged with it. Medical fraud and insurance fraud. It's all right. She's a fraud. Be right back. January 27th was International Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day to remember the great evil of the Holocaust.
And now she's been charged with libel.
Anti-Semitism.
Lonnie Trump sooner.
More important than ever to remember the atrocities of the Holocaust.
Comments made about, that was a raid on Mar-a-Lago.
Fellowship of Christians and Jews, because they provide food, shelter, and safety to Jews in the Holy Land and around the world. Your donation to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews today will help provide food and water and medicine and other basic necessities to these communities in need. And through your tax-deductible gift, you'll stand with the Jewish people and against growing anti-Semitism and hatred. Show your support for the Jewish people in the Holy Land by calling 844-866-IFCJ and make your tax-deductible donation today. 844-866-IFCJ.
In Montgomery County, Rockville Pike northbound in Bethesda, there is a crash right at the Beltway. On the Beltway in Bethesda, the inner loop is stop and go between Rockville Pike and Colesville. In Gaithersburg on 270, the northbound side is slow.
Andy, you ever see Jonathan Capehart fill in for that Joanne Reed? Give me a second.
Now for garage door forecast.
Turning cloudy today, breezy, highs near 50. Tonight, partly cloudy down to 34.
As you age, your body's natural healing and rebuilding processes slow down. A collagen supplement from Ancient Nutrition can help you feel and look your best. Ancient Nutrition's mission is to create high-quality supplements that combine ancient wisdom and modern science. Ancient Nutrition's multi-collagen advanced lean supplement contains 10.
Wow, he's on PBS now. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Now,
In a healthy weight and building
he's the black dude with the glasses.
Aaron meals. Plus, Ancient Nutrition's multi-collagen advanced lean is delicious and easy to work into your daily routine by mixing it into your morning coffee, matcha, or your favorite smoothie. Right now, Ancient Nutrition is offering 25% off your first order when you go to ancientnutrition.com/take25. That's ancientnutrition.com/take25 for 25% off your first order.
How do you spot the all-new Nissan Rogue Rocker? Here's a hint. It's got all-terrain tires, a tubular roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out with the lava red detailing. You'll also find it in natural habitat, climbing mountains, hiking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure. The first ever Nissan Rogue Rocker.
I want to play it, but Levin's on, and I got to listen to when he comes on, I got to listen to what he's saying. It's a habit I developed a long time ago. Can't help it. Capehart on PBS.
my new best friend. Might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's new.
Stephanie Rule.
Get there. She needs lots of love and care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
I mean, here, this is what hyperbole. Whatever word you want to attach to it, just read the title on this fucking thing. All right. Does that even fucking make any sense?
End of the news. Making sense of your world.
Is that fucked up? Look at this fucker. Kamala Harris. Fake African American. I'll tell you what. I wish I were black. I'd be fucking, what I'd say really come out. Right, they do. All right. She's not part of the hood. She's not a black woman living in America. Remember when they were doing that? Black and living in America. Oh, it's hard.
Greatest fan of the guy, but if Trump wants him, then Trump wants him. But I'm not the greatest enemy of the guy either. He just doesn't bother me that much. He did help Donald Trump win the presidency. That's different
this
than
one.
the labor secretary, and that's different than the deputy secretary of education, both of whom are radical, teacher union nut jobs. But again, Trump wants them. So that's the way it goes.
Did you just say teacher union nut jobs?
I wanted to talk about this just for a short second. That's all it deserves. Caroline Kennedy, on behalf of and at the behest of the Democrats, put out a scathing attack on her cousin. And it was grotesque. She called him a predator. She said that he got other members of the family on drugs and they got very sick and some died. Blamed it on him. And some other really horrendous things. That's family? Seriously? And that's how she and the Democrats hope to defeat him. Not on the issues. They can debate him on vaccines and anything and food coloring or whatever the hell it is. It doesn't matter to me. But they don't. She called him a predator. So I posted, predator? Perhaps Caroline is confusing Cousin Bobby with Uncle Teddy. Now, there was a predator. Chappaquiddick comes to mind. Yet Uncle Teddy was beloved by the same Senate Democrats now trashing Cousin Bobby. They slobbered all over Uncle Teddy, even though he had Mary Jo Kopechne's blood on his hands, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the bare truth. They hate RFK Jr. because he campaigned for Trump. It's that simple. Pretty nasty, Caroline, especially considering there are lots of unopened closet doors, aren't there? Starting with Granddaddy Joe Sr., the Third Reich sympathizer and the anti-Semite. And out of respect for those who've passed, we won't dig into the background of your father. And I won't. Enough has been written about that. Speaking of predators. Bill Clinton's a predator, but you don't have a problem with him. No, it's Bill Clinton. He can be a predator. We can go on and on, but I won't. Just grotesque. It's like that affidavit signed by Pete Hegseth's ex-sister-in-law. How disgusting. This is even worse. Your cousin. The things that she said. Because they hate Trump, they hate Republicans, they hate the fact that he could be Secretary of DHS and actually be accomplished on his own. They hate it. Party first, baby. I've told you this many, many times. For the Democrat power base, the leadership, the establishment, the ruling class, it's party first, just like the Marxists. And this echo chamber's been heard throughout. Favorite cable
no, I hit the wrongs. I fucking laughed.
It's good that they learn.
Over here at Newsbusters, I would ask the chairman of the FCC. They tell me you're doing a good job, but you're going to have to do a better job, in my humble opinion. It's not an attack. I'm here to help. God's honest truth, I am here to help. And Joseph Vasquez writes, betrayal. Soros-controlled station unmasks vehicles of undercover ICE agents in San Jose. This week, in a radio station owned by the George Soros-controlled Odyssey, outrageously identified the vehicle whereabouts of Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents operating in San Jose, which is known for violent gang activity. CBS 740 AM, not to be confused with the Los Angeles CBS affiliate, elevated the...
I'll address that in a minute, Andy.
From the leftist Rapid Response Network, which fights against deportation initiatives during the January 26th edition of KCBS Radio Weekend News. But to make matters worse, anchor Brett Burkhart gave exact descriptions of the vehicles the ICE agents were reportedly using, including specific locations. News Nation confirmed January 27 the agents were conducting an operation.
My favorite turn.
Meaning their cover was potentially blown. Millennial senior editor Andrew N. noted the agents were allegedly working undercover. KCBS, in effect, put law enforcement officers at risk, serious risks, while an operation was ongoing targeting violent criminal foreign nationals. So I circle back to the chairman of the FCC. What have they done, or are they doing anything about how Soros has acquired these stations, particularly the 200 or so stations that violated their own processes? On my program, violated their own process to acquire stations like WPHT in Philadelphia. That needs to be examined. We cannot allow lawlessness in whatever form it was in the bureaucracy and the Biden regime to stand, because lawlessness begets lawlessness. That's what it does. You know, I can't think of any time in our history where we literally have the vast majority
Planning on moving it anyways.
For murders,
They
rapists,
did.
and pedophiles. Those brave men and women.
I wonder what you're talking about. And I was like, it's where the flagpole was. I knew it when I put it up. I didn't give a shit. I just put it up.
The ATF.
And all. I took the tag out of it and folded it up and nailed it over there.
Predators. These human cancers from our neighborhoods. And you have the media on MSNBC, on CNN, in the slimes and the compost, and the rest of the usual reprobates platforms, cheering for the violent. This is why you can see why they embrace Hamas, while they claim they don't, but they do, against Israel. They have no morality, these people. They have no ethics. They are vile people with microphones, with TV cameras, that the massive corporatists who own these various media outlets, they permit them to continue. You know, all this talk about Comcast spinning off MSNBC, they haven't done a damn thing. Nothing.
You shouldn't be working there.
It's not about freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpaid tea, that is overpriced tea, then tried blockading us when we dumped them into the ocean. You know, Mr. Producer, if they'd done that to Diet Coke, they would have had a real revolution. Oh, yeah. Now, how'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You have a contract with T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. Oh, yeah. The Three Stooges of corporate online wireless.
Remember a while ago, Andy, and you come in here and kept asking for a wrench, and so I put the wrench on that account. You ended up going to JC's. You thought maybe piss him off. You said to her, she really didn't know what to do. Andy, you know how many people I've made go to JC like what you did? Seriously. Come on up and talk about it, JC. Hey, JC, why don't you come on up and bring the little audio when you called the cops on me? Let's have some fun tonight. Let's do that. Have some humility, JC. I think it's time for you to admit your shortcomings. You should have been defending me against those motherfuckers doing that. And you let Randy do it. And I don't believe you're contrite, JC. I don't care. You can say Melania is beautiful all you want. You're kind of late for that shit. You liked her hat? That's shallow. No, Rusty's got my mother's senior picture pasted on her fucking book. It just makes me famous. Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate it. She's a pretty woman, my mother. A lot better looking than you are, you fucking hag. Won't even turn your camera on. You or JC. Monica, I'm sick of you. Fucking idiot. How about it, Donnie? Fucking your woman's an idiot. I like Whipperman. I like LD. Okay. Almond?
European countries. I'll tell you what. The second Muslim crusade. And in this case, by Muslim, I mean the jihadis and the Islamists. And this is something, if you actually read some of the English interpretation of what some of the terrorist leaders are saying, this is what they've intended to do, to conquer the West through immigration. I call it revolution by immigration. There are other entities trying to do the same thing. The communist Chinese, you've got racist ethnic front groups pushed by, tenured professors in our own country and other countries that seek to do the same thing. That's why handling immigration properly is very, very important. Open borders is a disaster. That's why we have people in our streets praising Hamas and Islamic Jihad and the Muslim Brotherhood. Actually praising 9/11 as well as October 17th. The enemy is here. The Hitler Youth is here. The real Hitler Youth. The Islamo-Nazis are here. The Marxists who back them up, they're here. They populate our colleges and universities and many of our communities. And it's only getting worse. They're funded by Qatar, who I understand is our best friend now, doing God's work in the Middle East to ensure that 3,000 terrorists are released.
I'll find you funny, acid drip.
Saudi Arabia.
You're an idiot.
9/11 has never been fully.
Any American who fucking associates with that dumb motherfucker,
That's right. We got people
you got a
flying
problem.
all over the place, kissing the ass of these people.
I don't
It's
find
the
it
truth.
amusing.
The Israelis and Netanyahu, they're the ones who are just so stubborn. They actually want to keep their country. They actually
JC wants to sit there and I get attacked and I
want to keep the
ain't fucking nobody cloning you, JC.
Can you believe it? They want to.
I was really the only one in fucking cloning you.
Patriarchs and matriarchs. They want to protect the Holy Land. They want to protect the ancient sites of the Jews and the Christians. The hell's wrong with these people? They want their people unmolested. They don't want people killing them, raping them, beheading them. What's wrong with these
That's the
people?
last time you say something like that. I'm going to time you out, Andy. Stop.
Netanyahu.
Knock it off.
Leader that modern Israel has ever had.
Stop spamming my chat. Because now you're spamming my chat.
Not the terrorists in Gaza, not the terrorists in Lebanon, not the terrorists in Yemen, not the terrorists in Judea and Samaria, aka, as they call it, the West Bank. No, they're not the problem. Not the military dictator in Egypt, not the phony king in Jordan, not the other phony king and his son, the prince in Saudi Arabia. No, it's the elected democratic government of the Jewish state. They just won't give in. They just want to survive and live and have boundaries that they can protect. What's wrong with these people? So Britain, in many respects, has been taken over by the worst of the worst. They have a massive scandal there, the cover-up by the current prime minister, who's a real lowlife. A real low life. What a puke. Who covered up these.
They have it. I told you. Long time ago.
Pakistani Muslims. Obviously, not all Pakistani Muslims, but Pakistani Muslim gangs, many of them first generation, selling British girls into slavery, sex slavery. It is a massive scandal now. And then you have in France, where people who are Jewish, check that, where people who are not Muslim dare not go into the suburbs of Paris. See, it's different there. It's the suburbs of Paris, or you won't come out. And of course, you have in other parts of Europe, you have the Israeli soccer team that goes there, and what happens? You have a pogrom. You have a pogrom, chasing down the soccer players, the fans from Israel and everything else through the streets of Amsterdam. Oh, yeah. So what's happened? And it's happened in our own country. You've had this crusade that's taken place. Now, CARE knows what I'm talking about. The Hamas terrorist-supporting group called CARE that celebrated October 7th, right in our midst. This is an organization that supports the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party supports CARE. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? The same Democrat Party that's protecting murderers, raping. Like, nobody wants them. Yeah, well, you do. Joe Biden didn't get rid of them. The Democrat Party didn't get rid of them. It took Donald Trump, the man you called Hitler, to protect our communities, to follow the rule of law. I'm sick of these dumb bastards on TV. Sick of them, all of them. And so, Britain, really, the birthplace of modern-day democracy, is no longer safe for Jews. France, which was a foremost defender of Judaism for a period of time, is no longer safe for Jews. Columbia University and these major institutions, many of which were built by Jews, are no longer safe for Jews. And now they want Israel to be no longer safe for Jews. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
As you age, your body's natural healing and rebuilding processes slow down. A collagen supplement from Ancient Nutrition can help you feel.
There's nothing more that can be said about Rusty. We know what she is, and that's all there is to it. She's fucking scared to come up here. You ain't got the fucking hair on your pussy to come up here, Rusty.
Their formula is powered by clinically studied ingredients that promote fat loss, maintain a healthy weight.
Yeah, well, Al, you got a problem with it? Is there a problem? They're fucking you illegal alien, undocumented immigrant. I better call you undocumented immigrant, or Joanne Reed from MSNBC is gonna tar and feather me. Undocumented immigrant. You just think of those two words together. How fucking stupid it is.
Never backing down for any adventure.
No, I'm listening to the radio.
Nobody local? Huh.
We're an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
Can you not see us? Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com. Making sense of the media. The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant.
Weekdays 9 to noon. Now, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
I mean,
and many cutting back on spending. Why not spend more time with us? Because making sense of it all is always time well spent. News Talk 105.9 WNAM, making sense of the news. A fresh perspective you can only hear here. This is a little thing called the First Amendment, which is.
Why did I just do that?
Vince Colonnade,
Weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
News Talk 105.9,
WNAM.
making sense of the news.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price
La 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 la.
and data for $30 online when you buy two. That's just $60 a month.
When I feel like it.
So if you're 50 and up, make this quickly save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code MARK now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code MARK. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Enter the E3. Download the WNAL app to stream us for free.
Andy, you keep timing yourself out. Why?
So Canberra had this massive alert to all of its Muslim and Marxist friends, and they contact the senators. They say all senators, especially Democratic senators, who often tout the importance of respecting human rights and international law, must oppose the House bill sanctioning the International Criminal Court, and it goes on and on. And so the Democrat Party is attached with care the Hamas front group that celebrated October 7th, that is filled with Jew-hating, American-hating Islamists, and even jihadists, attached at the hip with Chuck Schumer, the first Jewish Democrat leader in the Senate, and the rest of the slime balls in the Democrat Party in the Senate. This one, Mark, why don't you become attorney? You really think I should sit up there and listen to these bastards? I can't stand them. It's been reported that from January 2000 to January 2025, the Dow Jones increased by 260%, the S&P 500 by 320%, the NASDAQ by 380%, but gold outperformed all of them with an incredible 800% growth. Now imagine, $100,000 you invest over time in your IRA or whatever your retirement plan is, you would have over 900,000. See, gold has always been a valuable asset for protection and always will be. And I trust Advantage Gold. There are other gold companies, but they're the best. I've tried the others because they're rated one of America's top gold companies by TrustLink for 9 consecutive years, and they've handled over $1 billion in retirement transactions. And Advantage Gold is an A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau. Don't do better than that. Right now, they're offering a free guide on protecting your wealth with gold. No cost, no obligation. I encourage you to grab it. Just dial 800-900-8000. Get your free protection kit. That's 800-900-8000. This guide can make a huge difference in your financial future at absolutely no cost to you. That's 800-900-8000. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial advisor.
Marie Lubapina, I bet you your belly fucking hangs more than mine does. I bet you got a big old fucking fat gut on you. Another one won't turn her camera on, but want to make fun of people. So, I'll handle it the best way I can. I got the pictures you showed on your stream. That is your face. My mother is better than your mother there, fucking. Yeah, her real name. You want me to put it in print? I've done it a million times. Marie Lubapina. You got a penis she can lube? Huh? There's a woman for you right there, Andy. You like panties? Andy. Go get her panties. I bet you she's got a fucking nice pair of panties. You like women's panties? Go ask Rusty. I bet you should be flattered if you ask for her panties. Huh? Good idea.
Nutrition.com. Nutrition.com/take25 for 25% off your first order.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Are trampolines safe? Ask just about any doctor, especially an ER doctor. The answer is probably going to be no. In fact, more than a decade ago, the American Academy of Pediatrics issued a policy statement.
Let's see if this goes through the first time. It's my own chat. It should, fucker thing. Yeah, that'll help. I'm down to one. That's good. Andy, he's the only one here besides me? Should say two. Oh, it doesn't count me. I'm only here with one phone. I only need one. I can't block it. There ain't nobody blocked. There's no need for me to block anybody. What the fuck do I need to block anybody for?
There's a group of attorneys general in 22 states and the District of Columbia filed their own lawsuit. General Rob Bonta, White House has Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, student loans, and food stamps would not.
Yeah, let's do that for a second. Oh, I busted up Vegas. Pretty bad. They fuck it. I know what yahoos have me blocked. Well, this is gonna be a difficult task. Not go to JC's chat. Refrain from going up on the panel.
I'd be the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Made my point.
Hands-on participant in an ice raid in New York City early this morning. People are injured in a stampede at a Hindu festival in India. America is listening to Fox News.
Consultant for Maryland Governor to stay longer. I'm Sharon Rudin from the Novak Motors News Desk. Good evening.
Go see if Rusty wears lacy white panties. See what she says. You like plus sizes?
Been pushed out to March 1st.
Only one thing, Andy. She had a hysterectomy, so she probably can't really cream her pants. she sees a man, she might want to jump his bones. From those pictures, I was around when those women got together and the men. video. I fucking never laughed so hard. JR living in the garage. Andy, that doesn't make you special. Most men like women's pants. You know, they're gonna look at the crotch. Natural thing to do.
Security incidents on the same day of Montgomery County's Kennedy High School last week. Parents are calling for change. First, a medical emergency caused a shelter in place. The reports of someone with a gun sparked both a lockdown and chaos. Some parents at a security meeting last night say new plans to bolster school protections last summer were ignored. WMAL News Time is 8:04. I'm Sharon Reardon. And now, here's your WMAL traffic and weather from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
On the Beltway, Maryland side first, no problems at Prince George's County border of Montgomery County. In Virginia, the Beltway is clear on the inner loop and on the outer loop. Staying in Virginia, 395 southbound in Arlington, right lane is blocked for a crash after Washington Boulevard. In Falls Church, the eastbound side of 66, you'll find a crash. The right lane is blocked at Westmoreland Street. And southbound in Lorton is slow from the Lorton exit.
Andy, I don't know why you just don't open your own panel. If you're looking for a panel, go open your chat.
Cloudy today, breezy. Tonight, partly cloudy down to 34.
Sure, JC's live. That's where everybody is. There's only 3 people in my room. 3 of the most important. This is a VIP station. Yeah, I'm the I'm the Billy Graham of YouTube chat. How's that? Chat fools forever.
Take 25. That's ancientnutrition.com/take 25.
That was a 20-minute rant I did that last time I went live.
On News Talk 105.9 WAL.
The bowels of a somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, the Den.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. Well, this long national nightmare is over. Jim Acosta. The only thing is, nobody actually watched his show. He had horrendous ratings. Even for CNN, I think it was the bottom of the heap. And the reason is he's an arrogant, and he's very arrogant, and he has no reason to be arrogant. He's quite stupid and obnoxious. There's ways to question a president, even aggressively, without being stupid and obnoxious. But Jimbo doesn't know that way. So where will he go? Ask me if I care. But he wanted you to know something on the way out. And since none of us watch him, almost nobody watches him, now I will reveal this to millions of you. Guess why? Because I will use him as a foil and as a comedy tool. Cut 19, go.
And I just wanted to end today's show by thanking all of the wonderful people who work behind the scenes at this network.
There's more people who work behind the scenes at the network than are watching you. Go ahead.
And after giving all of this some careful consideration and weighing an alternative time slot CNN offered me, I've decided to move on.
No, they decided you would move on. Why do you think they offered you midnight, for God's sakes? They offered him midnight, Mr. Producer. Now, you know what's funny? If he were really good, he would take midnight and he'd make something out of it. Like I could make something out of midnight, Mr. Producer, don't you think? You got these comedy guys on these other networks. Make something out of it. You don't have to do comedy. I mean, you have Johnny Carson who made something out of it. It was 11:30 at night. He said, let me do it. They did it. But this guy, you know, he's used to being fed like a caged veal. You know, he wants to be treated differently. Go ahead.
The nearly 18 years I've spent here doing the news, people often ask me if the highlight of my career at CNN was at the White House covering Donald Trump. Actually, no. That moment came here when I covered former President Barack Obama's trip to Cuba in 2016 and had the chance to question the dictator there, Raul Castro, about the island's political prisoners. As the son of a Cuban refugee, I took home this lesson.
You wouldn't know it, would you? You wouldn't know that he's a son of a Cuban refugee. Go ahead.
To bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth.
Well, therefore, he's saying don't watch CNN. Don't follow his career, such as it was or is. The lies and the fear. That should have been the CNN slogan. Lies and fear. And no viewers. Who's next? Anybody? Jake Tapper? Wolf Blitzer? The gals of CNN? Who's next? MSNBC? Comcast? When are you going to kick in action? You've got America's Bigot, Joy Reid. Are you proud of that? Among others. What are you going to do about it? They're not going to do anything right away, I can tell you. That's for sure. Ever hear Professor Sadegh Zipakalam? Well, of course not. Neither did I. He's a very brave man. A very brave man. You know, we have professors in this country who pretend to be brave when they start attacking the system. The system allows them to attack the system. In Iran, if you say something out of place, the system chews you up and spits you out. This professor was just indicted by the Iranian regime. Just indicted by the Iranian regime. Because he said that young Iranians praised Netanyahu as a hero and detest the Palestinians. He also was complimentary of Donald Trump. Let's take a listen. Cut 18, go.
Rise today, since 7th of October last year, you'd be surprised at the number of Iranians who hate Palestinians. What happened to that sympathy? It's gone. It's evaporated. If someone would have told me that Sadiq, that's my first name, Sadiq, a day would come that Iranian people would hate Palestinians and they would praise Netanyahu. Of all the people, they would praise Netanyahu as a hero. I would have thought that he or she was out of his mind. He or she was talking nonsense. He or she didn't know anything about Iranian people. But I saw it with my own eyes during the past 15 months. The degree of hatred of a younger generation of Iranian against Palestinian. And the hero was Netanyahu. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that if someone didn't know that this country is Iran, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, at the peak of the election in the United States, he would have thought that this is not another country different from United States. I am in somewhere with part of United States because everyone is talking about the U.S. election. Everyone is talking about U.S. election. Religious people are talking about U.S. election. Intellectual people are talking about, the students are talking about, everyone is talking about U.S. election. And that wasn't the only topic of conversation in Iran 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Everyone was hoping, everyone was praying that Donald Trump would win the election. Again, if that old woman, that gypsy old woman, told me that, look, one day, Iranian people would dream about the victory of someone called Donald Trump, who is anti-woman, who is anti-Arab, who is anti-immigrant, who is anti-black, who is anti-this, who is anti-that. I would have thought that, oh, you don't know Iranian people. No, you're wrong. And I saw it with my own eyes what happened during the past 15 months.
Now, this guy wasn't saying he's anti-Trump and Trump's anti. He said this is what they're saying about it. Enormous courage and insight that we didn't have, that the Iranian people view Netanyahu as a hero. And you see, they view him as a hero because Iran has never been weaker. They want him to finish off this regime. They want to be free again. The Iranian people are not Palestinians. The Iranian people are not Arabs. The Iranian people, prior to this 7th century revolution, in which these people shot their way into power, lived in an advanced society.
Endo is banned at JC's.
It was destroyed by this regime.
I'll show you. Maybe she unbanned it, but
He's simply speaking the truth. He's been now indicted by the Iranian government. Indicted by the Iranian government. Now, I will bet you haven't heard this anywhere. Anywhere. Friend and foe alike. Regardless of the platform. And yet this statement by this professor is so profound. The Iranian people are rooting for Netanyahu to destroy that regime. The Iranian people are rooting for Donald Trump, who has stood up to that regime. Control. The destruction of your connections to your nation's history. Family. This is totalitarianism. This is what MSNBC and CNN stand for. Totalitarianism, propaganda, demagoguery. Their lies about Trump. Throughout the world, Trump is seen as a liberating force. Biden is seen as a weak man who was ceded to one horrendous genocidal regime after another. It's important that our foreign policy, especially in the Middle East, does not look like foreign policies of the past. The reason why Donald Trump was so successful in the Middle East is because he rejected the old ways, rejected them. Saudi Arabia and Qatar cannot be allowed to drive the future of the Middle East. Qatar is a terrorist-supporting regime. Billions and billions of dollars supporting terrorists, protecting Hamas leadership, promoting terrorism in our own country, anti-Semitism in our own country, funding these groups. Qatar is not doing God's work, as one person said. Qatar is not our buddy. The idea that Qatar is a mediator is like the Russians were a mediator in the Iran deal. And I'm all for negotiations and deals, don't get me wrong, but not with Iran. Iran is on its back. Why would we breathe life back into a regime that wants to have hypersonic missiles with nuclear warheads capable of hitting us, the United States of America? How many more times do they have to say they hate us and they want to defeat us? This is the ideology of the Islamist terrorists. You can't negotiate that away. You can't make a deal and all of a sudden they become more rational, more civil. It doesn't work that way. These are throwbacks. That's what they are. They're throwbacks. The Democrat Party is unfit to deal with this. See what they did with the ICC today. You see the open borders. You see how their left-wing institutions embrace Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Muslim Brotherhood. You see that. We have to make sure that the Qataris and the Saudis who use their money to buy off politicians, to buy off special interests, to buy off lobbyists, to finance businesses and businessmen, do not turn the one political party, and certainly our iconic president, do not turn them away from the progress that he has been making and can make. I don't think they will succeed. I worry about some of the people around them, but I really don't believe there's any way that they will succeed in doing that to Donald Trump. Period. It's a man of his word. But here this professor, Sadegh Zibakalam, Iranian, whose voice you've heard for the first time, maybe the last time, who's opened a wide window into what's actually going on in Iran and in many of the other cultures. He needs to be shut down and silenced, just like conservatives do in this country under the Biden regime and such regimes, just like people who dare to question Fauci and the birth of the Wuhan virus, where it came from. They have to be shut down and silenced. You saw a big piece of this during the pandemic, that particularly local and state government exercised power they were never supposed to have to determine what you could do, when you could do it, and where you could do it. In some cases, allow the stores that sell alcohol, many of them state-owned and state-run, to stay open while they shut down churches and synagogues. That's the truth. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
As you age, your body's natural healing and rebuilding processes slow down. A collagen supplement from Ancient Nutrition can help you feel and look your best. Ancient Nutrition's mission is to create high-quality supplements that combine ancient...
I'm going to end this and maybe come back
Ancient
later.
Nutrition's multi-collagen advanced lean
I'm going to go take a shower and go to bed.
from 10 real food-based sources. Their formula is powered by clinically studied ingredients that promote fat loss, maintain a healthy weight, and build lean muscle. Collagen